Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Night show, very special. I thought about this because I don't know how it came to my mind, but so people are really doing a lot of good things for people during the quarantine. And I said, let's do a show on good deeds. Good deeds during the quarantine. So I reached out.
People still doing good deeds?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And if there was ever a time when good deeds were needed, it is now.
Hey, I'm
And
glad
so
to hear it.
I found some folks doing some wonderful things. I said, let's get them on the show. Let's show them some love. Let's get the word out to what they're doing and show them that they are appreciated. And I mean, some people doing big things. I mean, big things. With Magic Johnson secured $100 million for minority-owned companies as the government fails to black and Latino small business owners. That is a wonderful good deed. And he's in a position, I'm not, to give out $100 million. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey gave open officials $10 million.
Saw that, yeah.
I'll take $1 million, but $10 million. That is a wonderful good deed. And even
I hope Oakland don't mismanage the money. Sorry, I had to say that.
I'm blessing myself. Okay.
So
Cleveland Cavaliers player Kevin Love donated $100,000 to support the employees, the hourly employees that are not working right now. After NBA games were suspended. Those are good deeds. And I even read one about the Fremont. Is it Sikh? Is that how you say the word? S-I-C-H?
Yeah, Sikh community. Yeah, Sikh
community donated to first responders. Members of the Sikh Temple in Fremont have donated supplies to the Alameda County Fire Department. Firefighters from Union City visited the temple on Saturday to pick up the supplies. The firefighters received 2 cases of hand sanitizer, N95 masks, and face shields. A wonderful good deed. And the whole thing is not the fact of how much you have, because I don't have $100 million like Magic, but it's the fact that individuals and organizations are out there doing good deeds. So we got some folks here today who are going, I would say, above and beyond the call of duty. We have individuals, we have organizations, and we have people even going beyond on their own job, doing some good deeds. So let's bring them in. I'm not going to even tell you what their good deeds are. I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to let them do it. And here's what I want to do. I'm going to ask them to say what their deed is, and then stick around, because in the end, I want to ask some more questions that are very personal. Instead of doing it all at once, we'll just go around and hear about the good deeds that folks are doing. So I'm just name everybody's name first, and then I'm going to call on somebody. Whoever I call first, got to speak first. How's that? Don't be late. That's the way it is. So we have Katrelia Robinson. Katrelia, just raise your hand so everybody can see you. We have Teresa Graves, attorney Teresa Graves.
Hi, Teresa.
We got a special something for you. Is Lowell Davis on? Lowell was supposed to be on.
LD.
Okay, because you know my screen only sees so many people. So we have Supervisor Shamann Walton.
Supervisor Shamann.
We have Cisco and Valerie. Now I ain't gonna try to pronounce the last name.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to mess it up. So when you come on, you can pronounce your own last name. And we have Fernando, Marquez, and Rigo, Molina. Is that right? Are you guys here?
Yes.
Hey,
yes, they are here.
All right, praise the Lord. Thank you all showing up on a Sunday night. You ain't got nothing else to do anyway. But here we go. We're gonna start with Katrelia.
Oh, how did I know I would be first? Well,
I knew. Go right ahead. Thank you.
Well, my name is Katrelia Robinson, and I'm a member of the Beta Pi Sigma sorority. We are a national organization, and I belong to the Beta chapter, which is based in Berkeley and Oakland, California. We are a women's business and professional organization, and we're committed to serving the community. And our main focus is on youth. During this quarantine, we were made aware of a need for computers for our youth. We found out that there were children who had been sent home with schoolwork that they needed to do online, and they had no computer. So as we all know, children who can't do their schoolwork will fall behind very quickly. And when that happens, trying to catch up is a major ordeal, and they lose lots of ground. So this was a very emergent need that we wanted to step in and avoid, that we wanted to try to fill, or a gap, if you will, that we wanted to try and fill to help these kids out. So my sorority members, we all held a phone conference, and we decided that we wanted to purchase some computers to help the kids. So we needed to do this very fast because, as I said, you know, the longer you wait, the worse the situation gets. So we wanted to cut out kind of that middle person or a lot of red tape, and we wanted these computers to go directly from our hands to the child that needed them. So we were trying to think of someone that we could call upon to kind of connect us with the children who were in need. So we thought of Orly Brown. She has a foundation in Oakland, California, that prepares children for college, both academically and financially. So when we spoke with her, she said parents had already been calling her and asking her about getting computers for their kids. Apparently they were given a packet of schoolwork where they needed a computer. So that was a perfect match for us. So what we did was partner up with her. She actually made sure that they got internet service, and we gave the computers. So we were able to procure about 45 computers.
Wow.
And that was not an easy thing to do, because right now people are working from home and children are doing schoolwork at home. So everybody needed one. So trying to find enough computers that were reasonably priced was hard. So we worked on this for a period of maybe about 3 days, and we were able to come up with those computers. So Orly allowed us to come down to her foundation office, and that's where we dispensed all the computers to the kids. They showed up on a Saturday morning. We met them there. We implemented a social distancing procedure to keep everybody safe, and we gave them those computers. It was something that was very near and dear to us because, like I said before, youth are one of our main focuses. So we were very happy to be able to do this for them. We also have a senior brown bag program, and that's where we provide groceries to seniors once a month. We're partnered up with the Alameda County Food Bank. So we bag the groceries and deliver them once a month, but we started getting phone calls during quarantine. Seniors were not able to get out to get groceries, and there's definitely a lot of food insecurity in our community in Oakland and Berkeley. It's not something you hear talked about a lot because, you know, it's kind of behind the scenes that's going on. And so we were able to help some folks out by getting additional food to them. And, you know, with all that we do in the community, we could not do it alone. We do have partners or people we partner up with to help us do this. And, you know, I just want to thank all of our volunteers and all of our contributors like the Wayne Lippman Foundation and Sharon Ho. They support us yearly with our scholarships and with all of the endeavors that I just spoke about. And we want to thank our GoFundMe page people because they donated money towards these computers, and all the people who sent checks into us to help with these computers. And our brown bag volunteers who helped to get that food out, especially Robert Brown, Abdul Lukman, Jackie Johnson, Broderick Naird, and most of all, Moselle and Rosemary and Candy. They're our liaisons between us and the Alameda County Food Bank. And our national president, Gwendolyn Hutchinson, and Marguerite Turner, our board chair, also support us in all of these endeavors that we're doing. So, you know, Beta is always, of course, interested in looking for women who want to serve the community. So if anybody wants to get more information about us, can I give the phone number out? Is that okay?
Hang on.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll stop there then.
45 computers. And when this is done, each of you can ask each other questions. I just want to get all the stories. Good deed number 1, Katrelia Robinson, Beta Pi Sigma sorority, 45 computers. When we come back to you later, I want you to tell me that little vignette that you told me about seeing that young lady when you were there actually giving them out.
Okay, I will.
Number 1. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to Cisco and Valerie. And you two can pronounce your own last name, because I ain't messing them up.
I'm Valerie Magalong.
I'm Cisco Punsalan.
And how do we follow that? I mean, that's just incredible. 45 computers and helping the elderly, that's amazing. But what we did in the early stages of shelter in place is we made 61 face masks for Seton Medical Hospital. It was one of those things that we were watching on the news, and we heard that they were going to be the hospital for the COVID, and the COVID-19 patients, and that they were running out of masks within a week. And so it's something that came inherent with me because early in 2016, I got sick, and it was one of those things where it was the nurses really helped me out, helped me with the education, helped me understand all the processes that, you know, I needed to go through. And my dad also got sick, and so did my mom. So they were actually so much of a wealth of knowledge and just comforting to our whole family. And it was to a point where it's like, how can I give back? And when you see something like that, it's like, wow, they're running out of masks. I don't know how to make masks. I don't know how to sew, but somehow I will figure it out and help them. So I think that's just, it was just like that weekend.
I mean, the whole thing itself was born out of gratitude, especially for what Val went through and just the type of person she is. While she was going through her battle, she was busy comforting me, letting me know everything was going to be okay. And basically her taking this call to action, seeing the news clip as a call to action to say, hey, what can we do?
So I'm a 4-year colon cancer warrior, I like to call it. And during, I guess when I first found out that I was in remission, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And so before he went to go in for treatment, my mom suffered a bilateral stroke and she passed away. So, you know, it was short-lived, my celebration, and, you know, I had to be there for dad because mom, you know, wasn't going to be there. So I think just the help that we got from the nurses, the hospital staff was, I'm just very grateful to this day. So, yeah, and it was a collaboration. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm going to make these masks. You know, I don't have a sewing machine, but, you know, I called my sister-in-law and she's like, nope, if you want to do it, I'll lend you my sewing machine. And my best friend, who always does everything with me, was just, I can't help you because we are in shelter in place. But what I'll do is I'll donate some money for you to buy those materials. And then, yeah, so it was pretty awesome. And then so that day, my son was back from college because he had to come back in a hurry. But he was like, hey, Mom, if you want to do it, I'll take you to Joann's and we can pick up all that stuff that you need, whatever you're doing, Mom, to help people. So it was a collaborative effort. And Cisco learned how to iron, you know, the masks. And
teamwork.
I'm more the strong, silent, supportive type. I couldn't just, you know, look back and see her hustling and bustling and not help out. So
yeah,
you know, I picked up an iron. I admit it. Yes.
So we did those masks all in one weekend, and we went to Seton on Monday, and just the look on their faces, they were just like, wow, you know, we were running out. Like today was going to be the day. And we can't believe, I'm like, I'm so sorry, it's just 61 masks, you know, but it took me all weekend till like 2 a.m. both days, but.
And we gained a new respect for, I mean, again, you're going to walk past clothes folded on top of an old Navy table and we go, wow. You know, I mean, just making one was really.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, newfound respect for our clothes and all of that. Yeah. Find gratitude in everything.
Was there one, you know, when people try to do stuff for the first time, I remember I tried to cook something for the first time. I'm not going to tell you what it was. Anyway, I threw it out. So like, how did the first mask come out and you be like, did you get them right from the start, or what was that like?
Maybe it took like 3 tries. So I have major OCD. So, you know, I follow directions to a T. So it was one of those things was like, hey, try this on, Cisco, because, you know, his face is maybe just a little bit bigger than mine. So it has to fit everybody. So, you know, it was one of those things where I think we did it on the 3rd try, right? Yeah. The ironing probably.
You know, I was already at the point. No, everything's fine. No, you don't have to check it. Everything's good.
Yeah.
You know,
but it went through a hard QC. You know, we had to quality check all those masks.
Nothing like that OCD that helps keeps things in perspective. I mean, sometimes it's a good thing.
Exactly.
Blessings to you on your recovery and prayers and blessings to you on your journey. That you continue to stay healthy and well and safe, and your love for others and gratitude, and just, you know, so prayers to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, we help those who can't help themselves, right? So I think that's just human nature.
You stop to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good deed number 2, Cisco and Valerie made 61 masks and donated them to what hospital?
They really made 64 because of 3.
Seton Medical.
Seton Medical.
You know, and we also talk about it all the time, and we agree that, you know what, the deed or the good deed doesn't really, you know, the dollar amount doesn't matter. It's the impact. If it helps one person, if it helps more, then really the deed itself is paid for.
Yes.
Well said. Thank you. We're going to move on to, let's see who I want next. Let's go. Well, food's a big deal, right? Other than the computers were a big deal for the kids, obviously masks are a big deal, and food, we've heard already about folks, by giving folks food has been a big deal. They got a couple folks that are really working on food. Let's do with Lowell Davis, individual, and we'll also go to Supervisor Shamann Walton, who will talk about his efforts just this past week in the food. So, Lowell, you're first, brother. You see what I got on, right? See what I got on?
Yes.
All right. Also representing
now
the great Fraternity Incorporated. So, using that as a segue, the fraternity is actually one of the major reasons why I wanted to join, to be part of something bigger than myself, and you know, to be able to give back to the community and have an organization that I could tie my service to. You know, so community service is not something that's new to me, and work with the food bank, which is what I've been doing most recently. The SF Marin Food Bank is something I've been doing for over a decade. I lived in San Francisco for about 8 years. I live in Oakland now, but for me, it was still important to serve that community that I used to reside in and the surrounding communities. So I commute, from Oakland over to the food bank. They have different pop-ups, different pop-up locations around the city of San Francisco. And I'd say on average, we're probably bagging between 8 to 1,300 bags of groceries for people over the course of a day.
Wow. And you're an individual, right? You just decided, I want to do this.
Yeah, it was kind of unique because I volunteered with them in the past, but then a friend of mine who's an educator, and they were on spring break, and they reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to volunteer with the food bank." And I was like, "Oh, wow, this is, I've been wanting to volunteer, and this is a great opportunity." So that kicked it off, and before I knew it, I was back and returning again and again, and I'll be there next Saturday as well.
How often do they do this? Is it randomly scheduled, or is it? This is the Marin Food Bank. How often do they do that and they call on you? I'm curious.
So they schedule out about a month in advance, and they're serving communities almost 7 days a week.
Okay.
Wow, really?
Right. Move on to Shamann, and I got to call him what he is, supervisor, Shamann Walton, District 10, and but to me, he's just Shamann. But anyway, you see what I got on, right, Shamann?
I see. Root to the good Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated member. And first of all, I just want to say I'm here with family right now. Dr. Marshall and everybody loves Street Soldiers, so they just want to let you know they're excited about what you do every Sunday. But I also just first want to start off by thanking everybody on this Zoom call, as well as everybody out in the community. This is really a time period where people have really shown their compassionate side. We've seen human beings step up in ways that we have not seen before during this pandemic. And so I just want to appreciate all of them first and foremost. And I know, Doc, we talk consistently, and we had a big effort the other day with Urban Ed Academy, YCD, Web Corps, and a lot of folks who gave out hundreds of meals in the District 10 community, from Visitation Valley to Bayview Hunters Point. And not only did we give out meals, we gave out hand sanitizer. And this was just one effort, because our main goal is to keep people safe and make sure that not only we're feeding everybody, which is something that everybody has stepped up in a big way to do, but also making sure people protect themselves with masks, hand sanitizer, and the proper personal protective equipment. And so that was a major push for us this last week. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated participated, Young Community Developers, RDJ Enterprises, Web Corps. We had a lot of volunteers from Urban Ed Academy who came through and actually went door to door, dropped off sanitizer, dropped off families. And so you have a lot of people right now that are showing up to make sure a community is taken care of. And that's what I'm most excited about. And I'm just proud to be in a position where we can make some connections and coordinate folks to come together in that manner.
What's the reception, Shamann, door to door? I didn't know a door to door part. That's like, woo, man, that's really something. You knock on your door and say, "Here, it's food." What was that reception like, going door to door?
Well, the reception is big. I mean, of course, people are grateful. And obviously, once we advertise what we've done, more folks in the community want to know how we can make it possible for us to come in their community and do the same thing, because we're trying to make sure these efforts reach everybody and reach the most vulnerable populations 24/7. And so that's the goal that we're fighting to do. But when you show up at somebody's doorstep and they understand and know that you're there to make sure that they have the support that they've been fighting for a long time, it's a good feeling for them. It's a good feeling for us. And my main goal is to continue to do as much as I can from the District 10 office to coordinate opportunities so we can get more food in more communities on a day-to-day basis. And people have been stepping up in ways that we couldn't believe during this crisis.
So let me just say that not only is Shamann a member, we're all members of the same fraternity, he is also an alumni of Alive and Free.
That's right.
Morris Brown College.
That's
what
right.
Year?
98. I don't want to date myself, but yeah.
And then you got your master's at San Francisco State, and your election to the Board of Supervisors was, what, 2 years ago now? 2018. Praise the Lord.
I started serving January 2019, so yes.
And for all of you, I want you to know that all politicians should be like that, okay? All of those who elected office should be like that. Man, just stay put. And you know, I'm proud of you. I mean, you know, that goes. I've seen you since I'm not gonna get to the story, but I knew you when you was a young boy, and now you, now you my boss in the district. So
never your boss.
Okay. There is a group of which Alive and Free works with hand in hand. And I remember when the group started, we actually train all of them, and they are really taking on, as part of their civic duties, or back as their work duties, actually taking on a bigger role now during the quarantine, during the pandemic, and that is the community ambassadors. And let's bring on Fernando, Marquez, and Rigo Molina, right? I hope I said them both right.
Hey, y'all, happy Sunday.
All the work that the community, and you know, you were aptly named. I'm not going to go through the whole history of the community ambassadors. They were born out of actually some mess going on between Blacks and Asians in the Bayview, and they created this sort of an urban Peace Corps, which was a great name, and we named them community ambassadors, which is a perfect name. And they were going to be out on the street, on the block, dealing with everything and everybody that nobody else wants to deal with, do wonderful services, keep the peace. And their duties have expanded during the quarantine, during the pandemic. So Rigo and Fernando, tell folks what you're doing, the next good deed.
Hey, yo, happy Sunday. Fernando Marquez here. Doc Marshall, we're longtime collaborators. I'm a Alive and Free alumni myself, class of 2011, if I'm not mistaken. We first started—
Training, he took the training.
That's right. When I was working at Be Magic, the initiative of the San Francisco Public Defender's Office, rest in peace to the late great Jeff Adachi, and all the community work through that organization. Currently a partner with us as well. We're really a community safety and neighborhood engagement initiative. We work in 5 core communities in the city of San Francisco: Chinatown, Bayview, Biz Valley, Mission, and Rigo. He's our team lead in Mid-Market and the Tenderloin. We have about 35 ambassadors, and we really provide a safety presence, connect folks to resources. And I just want to shout out a lot of our partners, since all this work could not be done without partnership. At the core of it, it's all solidarity between our most vulnerable communities. And we've seen the onslaught, really, of the statistics, the disproportionate impact on Black, Brown, API communities, the unhoused, homeless communities, and others. So that really is bringing our communities together and working in collaboration. So from the jump, when this started, we work with our community partners, over a core dozen group of collaborators. And so I just want to shout out some of the work that we've been doing, and really pass the mic to Rigo, since he's leading that effort with the Mid-Market team every single day. But just today, we were over at in the Mission over on Alabama Street, working with the Latino Task Force. Shout out to them, all the good folks, Roberto Hernandez, Tracy Brown, John Jacobo, Gabriela Lopez, a lot of the folks who were part of the UCSF Mission Latino Task Force testing effort to get folks in the Mission tested. Folks may have seen that over the last few weeks. Over 4,000 folks were tested. Rigo and his team had a presence there, going door to door, knocking, getting folks registered to participate in free testing. And so today we helped distribute hundreds of meals. Folks were in line since about 6 or 7 a.m. It went around the block, and meal distribution wasn't until 11:30. Hundreds of meals generously donated were distributed, and it really just speaks to the need of food insecurity here in the city. And at a time like this, where our most vulnerable are getting hit even harder. And we also have about a dozen of our ambassadors are DSWs, disaster service workers through the city. So folks may have seen that. I think it's about 3,000 city employees have been serving in different capacities, prepping for a moment like this. Normally, it might be an earthquake. It might be the NorCal fires that we saw over the last couple of years. We never thought it'd be a pandemic like this. We have our folks serving as DSWs at hotel sites across the city, where there are homeless, COVID positive folks who are recovering. We wish them the best during the moment of such uncertainty. And so they're helping distributing meals, checking them in and out, making sure that they're properly welcomed and cared for. And so I want to pass the mic to Rigo to talk about our other core partnerships as well.
Go ahead, Rigo. We got him. Rigo.
Rigo.
He's frozen.
Yeah.
All right. While we get him back, I can keep going, and hopefully we'll get Rigo on in a second. But we've also partnered with the Salvation Army. I want to shout out Theo Ellington, one of our core partners, and all the work that he does with his homeless policy division there. So they distribute thousands of meals to folks who are living in encampments across the city, and folks who may have seen the new encampments come up all over the city. It's a very very real reminder of the housing crisis, the homelessness crisis that we have in San Francisco. There's over 50 encampments in the city, and Salvation Army fresh meals every single day. So shout out to the good folks there, welcoming us to partner in that way as well.
We got some background. I don't know who it is.
Rigo.
I don't know. I hear everybody.
That's him saying he hears everybody. So if he could put it in chat. So Rodrigo, if you want to go into the chat room and just, because it's dragging. So hit the chat button and go ahead and type up, and we'll read what you say.
Okay. I'm really curious about the homeless. That's a huge sort of wild card in this whole thing, right? And you've seen the rise of tent city all over, at least this city. I don't know if they have it in Oakland too, but treating them has got to be, and working with them, I mean, the ambassadors working them has to be like, I mean, that's really where the rubber meets the road. I mean, that's a whole different, a lot of us would want to avoid that population, but you guys are embracing that population. Just talk a little bit about that. That is like, woof.
Thank you. I think we got Rigo back. Rigo, you there? Test. Rigo,
nope.
You there? All right. Well, we get Rigo back. Folks need no reminder. San Francisco's been facing a homeless crisis for many years now, and with that, there's been a legislative effort. I want to shout out Supervisor Walton, Supervisor Haney, Supervisor Rowan, Preston, and a wide range of allies in the work to really get our folks housed, to make sure that they're cared for, that they get a room,
I don't know why.
human decency that they need.
Perfect. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's probably the connection, Rigo.
Yeah, I think it is.
Rigo, yeah.
I think it is, yo. So I'm happy to just close out by saying that our core partners, they're caring for the needs, the holistic needs really of our folks, our neighbors really. Our office is right next to Mid-Market Civic Center, which is really ground zero for the encampments that we're seeing all over San Francisco. We know it's a regional, statewide issue, and it's really being illuminated in how graphic it is at a moment like this. So we want to make sure that the good work of our partners is celebrated along with the folks that we just mentioned.
Thank you very much.
Great, and I just want to say what Rodrigo typed in chat. He said, when it comes to homeless, we have support through the Salvation Army. So thank you so much.
All right, that's good deed number 1, 2, 3, 4. I forget to count. Okay, last but not least, right in the center of my screen is attorney Teresa Graves.
Hi,
who will talk about her good deed. Hi, Teresa. I love you. I haven't seen you. People will know why in a minute.
It's so good to see.
Hi, Michelle.
It's so good.
Alumni of the library, and she is doing something, and we'll get to her story later. But she's doing something that I don't know if this happened during the quarantine, before the quarantine. I don't care. It's happening now. I love it. Go to it, baby girl.
Okay, so it happened during the quarantine. I was trying to figure out what I could use my skills to contribute to, just do something. I wanted to do something. So I had decided that I wanted to, because I know how to expunge records. I don't do criminal law, but I know how to clean up the records. And so I was originally just going to do a free raffle where people could just enter their name, and then I'd draw a couple names and clear those records for those people. And then I was talking with my sisters, Naja and Tootie, and they were like, make them pay like a small fee. And I was like, oh, I want it to be free. And they were like, okay, well then put that, you know, do something with the money. And so I decided to make it a $10 to enter the raffle. And then all the money raised would go to a class of 2020 high school senior who wants to become a lawyer. And then in addition to getting a scholarship, I would like mentor that person. And so far I've raised $1,500. And I'm still getting donations, and I haven't gotten any emails yet, but I hear that people are like getting their essays together and they could, you know, send them to me. And the deadline is June 1st. And so I'm waiting, haven't received any essays yet, but hopefully they're coming in. So yeah, that's pretty much my good deed.
Let's go to the record expungement, because I heard a little birdie told me, and I don't want to say what the birdie told me, but first of all, that's a big deal. I don't get that twisted. Record expungement is huge. And the little birdie told me, and you can confirm this, that you feel that people shouldn't have to pay for that. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. So I feel like that's a service that should be done pro bono. And so, you know, people came to me and they wanted to pay me to do theirs, and I was like, no, enter the raffle, because I don't want to charge anyone to do something that I feel like should be for free. And so after I did have more share. So after I did this, then a couple other attorneys reached out to me, 2 other attorneys, and so we'll be doing it again where they want to help to expunge more records. So after this.
I also heard from the little birdie that you had only planned to do, I think it was 1 or something like that, but then you just felt so good. Is it true that you said, well, I'll just do everybody? Is that the sort of answer?
Yeah. So
Don't be holding back on us, bro.
I know so much. Okay, so when I initially posted it, I wanted to see what, you know, because I think this should be something that's free. So I'm like, I want to see who's going to first try to help themselves, because I want to help. I'm all for helping people who are first trying to help themselves. So I was like, I'm not gonna tell them, but everybody who enters is gonna get their records expunged. And so everybody who enters is getting their records expunged. So it wasn't really a raffle. I kind of tricked them.
And this little birdie told me all of that because she is one who's getting her. And she was surprised. She was like, you gonna do me anyway? And I want to thank you on her behalf. I thought of calling her and have a conversation, but we all know her. I mean, I know her. When I say the name, Ann would know her, you know her, but she is very grateful for everything you're doing. And I mean, just yeah, well, you know, and Miss Estelle will jump in here. This young lady came to us a few years ago, and for all of you, we help folks.
8 years ago.
How many?
8.
8. Oh, Lord, that's a few.
Wow.
Okay. And we help folks that go to get their undergraduate degree. We prepare them, we train them, and we pay a significant part of their college education. And but when Teresa came, she had already graduated.
When Teresa came, she already had her undergraduate degree.
Right.
So she didn't qualify to receive a scholarship.
Right.
And we make that clear. We like to be as clear with our young people and honest and open with them as we can. And Teresa kept coming. She didn't stop. And so we told her, you are not going to get the money. You realize that. She's like, but I'm learning so much. And then it was time for what we call our final project. And our final project is intense with in all caps. Her project was absolutely exemplary. Mm-hmm. She did the project. She wasn't gonna get any money. She did the project. It was exemplary. Oh my goodness. And I personally told the committee, we have got to, no, wait. So, and she was on her way to FAMU graduate school to get her degree. Jurisprudence, what?
Doctorate.
To get all that. And I said, we have got to give this girl some money.
Yep.
And I tell you what,
yep.
He got there and everything we said and more, she did. She's just amazing. And see, and this is the first time I've heard that you have opened up your own firm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you're giving back. You know, yes, thank you. I mean, the applause and the snaps. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness sakes. And so when I look at you, all of you, from Katrelia all the way to Teresa, the work, the gift, the giving, the love, the care, the commitment, the dedication, the determination. What a blessing you are to the communities and the people's lives that you touch and the ones that touch yours. This is just amazing. And I just applaud and salute you, congratulate you, and blessings to each of you.
I gotta say, Teresa, but particularly to you and Shamann, for me, seeing you when you came in, and then for me going through the process with you, because see, I get the phone, I'm on the phone. Teresa, you in class? Teresa, you need some money? Teresa, and anything that comes up, that got solved, right? So, you know, well, my apartment ain't working. I got this grade. We got to get the grades, and you know, when the graduation comes, and then to see you go into life the way both of you have, it's just, I mean, I don't even know what to say except it's just, and now you're opening your own firm, and girl, if they knew the backstory, like we knew the backstory, like they like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I also started a foundation it's called Two Suitcases and a Dream. Because if you remember,
I love that.
If you remember, I went to Florida with 2 suitcases and a dream.
That's right.
And so the foundation will basically help, I want to make sure that the next generation of lawyers don't have to go through the same hurdles that I went through. So I want to provide scholarships, grants, mentorship, anything I can to make it easier for the next generation.
This is, I got to ask you, and then Rigo, we're going to get to you as we go through. I wanted to wait, and you can ask each of you can ask each other questions. My main question is that you're all good Samaritans. It's very simple. It's funny. It's Sunday, right? What is today? Sunday. Perfect day. And I got all these good Samaritans on the show. And the question is, why, for each of you, why do you do this? I know why I do it. You know, people think I'm crazy. You do that? Yeah. You send people to college, ain't your kids? Yeah. In fact, the one time, one of the Omegas, I love this line. I think it best described. One day he told all the kids that Dr. Marshall's good for nothing. And they said, why do you say Dr. Marshall's good for nothing? And they said, he's good for no reason at all. And a lot of people just don't understand me. I know why I do it, but why do you do it? Why are you good Samaritans? Who wants to start?
Well, I'll start off. For one thing, we always have to remember that when we are investing in others and helping and fostering, especially with my organization with young people, that's our future. You're investing in moving forward and what's to come. If you don't invest in, your youth and helping them out, where are we headed?
Great answer. Who's next? I have to call it like
what was the question, Doc? I didn't hear the question.
Why are you a good Samaritan? Why you do this? You ain't got to do this. A lot of people don't even think about nobody else. I'm not going to say that guy's name because I don't say his name. I don't even say his name. I try not to say his name because then it's like he's the opposite. But the question is, why are you a good Samaritan? Why do you do this?
I think Doc, and I wouldn't even call it a good Samaritan. It back to all the coachisms we learned. What you learn from your grandmother, the more you know. Oh, there's a painting by Gilbert Young that talks about there's an arm reaching down and a hand reaching up, and it's 3 simple words that says he ain't heavy. You have a responsibility when you get to a certain point to make sure that the folks that are coming behind you, to make sure that your community is supported and is okay. And I think that's what it's all about. And everybody on this Zoom, all the folks that have been compassionate during this crisis, they're showing up in those ways. your grandmother said it best, the more you know, the more you owe.
Amen.
You gonna make me pull a picture out. Okay.
Now for us, I mean, I don't think anybody could ever go wrong with paying it forward.
That's right.
And I've known Annie for a very long time, and she knows my family and how I see my dad. But my dad told me growing up that if you find $1, give $2 to someone without. That's because God just went half with you on something.
Right.
So, I mean, I take that with me. I preach that to my kids because, again, everybody needs a helping hand once in a while. Lord knows I've needed it. So, again, can never go wrong with paying it forward.
Say that again. What did he say? If you find it, say that one more time. I need to hear that.
If you find $1, give someone without $2, because God just went half with you on something.
Lord. Mr. Stell, you got that?
Yeah. For me, I think it's just gratitude, right? You want to give back. You want to help those who, I even have issues with being called a good Samaritan, because I just think that people are good in nature, and that's just, it just comes out in some ways, and some people see it and, they highlight you and they thank you for it. But I think it's just, everyone is just good natured. They want to do good. I don't think there's anyone out there that's just pure evil. So I think it's just an attitude of gratitude, and then things come back to you too. It's that whole circle.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if we were to say, what makes you want to do good, or what makes you want to give back, or what, I don't know, because the Good Samaritan, I understand that, and we understand what that means, but we know that, and I say we, because all of us here we know what, we know, we've been there, we do that too. So if he didn't ask me, but I'm going to say the reason I do what I do is, if anybody remembers the Roger Rabbit movie, it's just how I'm made.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I just can't help it.
Yeah. You see a need, you want to fill it.
I can't do
someone suffering.
Other than that. It's just how I'm made. But we still want to hear from everybody else.
Lowell,
what makes you do what you do?
I'll go next.
I'd like to use a word that has been thrown around a lot lately, the past few years. It's privilege. And usually when that word is used, it's, in regards to white supremacy and white privilege. But each of us has some type of privilege that we were, born with, and that's recognized by society. So as someone who has food to eat every day, that's not something I've had to worry about. Someone who has shelter, that's not something I have to worry about. If I see someone who doesn't have those things, I feel like it's my duty, to help them. I've helped myself enough to the point where I can provide those things for myself. So it's up to me to do that for someone else, so that they can get to the point where they're able to sustain themselves, and then it just trickles on down or on over. So that's why I do it. It's important. Each one teach one, reach one.
Yep, I'm writing all these down. Rigo, you haven't had a chance to say anything. You think we could work now? Want to give it a try?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No, man, I had clear audio, but I don't know what happened. So yeah, but going back to your question though, why do I do it? Man, that's for me. It's a lot of reasons. When I was young, I was like, hanging with the wrong crowd, selling drugs, harming my community. And ever since I got this job, it's like, I turned it around. It's really rewarding being able to help out my own community that was destroying, help out the same folks I used to sell drugs to. I'd be surprised, like, to come across a lot of dudes out there and you're still looking healthy, and I don't know, but it's just really rewarding being able to, help the community, especially when I come across folks that know me and they're kind of surprised on what I do now and my big change. But, now I got kids and I got to be a role model for them. And, I want them to kind of like, that's kind of like, I'm not trying to glorify my old days, but it's kind of like in the past, and now I wanted to see what their dad do, and they kind of follow my steps at the same time. And I don't know, it's just wonderful. Like right now, I don't know if Fernando mentioned, like we are doing a lot of community support with Salvation Army and the homeless, and our own house folks around the city. We distribute meals with the support of other ambassadors, and we also do a lot of meal supports through seniors all around San Francisco. And it's really like, it shocks me how like some of them, they're living by themselves. They ain't got nobody to check on them, and once they receive that meal, like it just make their day. And like it just break my heart. Like
Rigo, man. It's funny. It was Malcolm X's birthday last Tuesday, and as I said earlier before, folks, he's the patron saint of this organization, and there wouldn't be, had I not seen what he did and how he embraced his community and his people, I wouldn't be doing this. It was simple as that. I mean, I always say I'd have 3 BMWs. I wouldn't be thinking about nobody's kids, ain't my own, right? But he inspired me, opened the door to my history, and he was once part of the problem, and he became a huge part of the solution. And as you're Malcolm, and I don't say that lightly. And you don't have to, what you're doing now is. I met a brother in San Quentin one time, and he told me he wanted to make up for all the damage that he had done, and just thank you, man, thank you. And that is a huge thing to people. When they see somebody who used to do that doing something else, you don't really inspire people by words. You inspire people by your actions. People don't care what you say, but they damn sure watch what you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, man.
And I'd be surprised sometimes when people approach me and like tell me like, hey, thank you for your help. And I don't know, it just feels, it's really rewarding, like I said, to go back and know that little piece of information, like, change somebody's life. Or lately we've been doing in the mid-market, we've been dealing a lot with like the whole fentanyl crisis when we're on the field, saving lives out there. Normally I will Narcan like at least two folks every day, and it was really bad before this whole crisis. We would be, to me, I'm always in crisis. Now it's the COVID. Before this, it was saving life out there, but hey, every day it's a new day, and like, I'm happy to just be able to help out and save life.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I love the ambassadors, man. Y'all doing work.
Man, thank you. Yeah, no, and definitely, and talking about good deeds, I also wanted to shout out Richard Whipple, our director for making masks. Him and Richard and Dana, his partner, they made some masks for the ambassadors, so that was great. Thank you for Richard always looking out for our safety.
Thank you. Fernando, why do you do what you do? Where's Fernando?
Yeah, Rigo, thank you for joining us. For me, I just feel this deep sense of responsibility, born and raised, and fortunate to still be living in San Francisco despite, the cost of living, the crisis that we've been facing for so many years here. I wanted to bust out this cap and shout out my friend Frank over at San Fam. He has a clothing company. This is my favorite hat. I don't know if folks can see it, but it says, I am because we are. It's a phrase adapted from the Ubuntu in Swahili, which basically means, we're nothing without each other. So for me, it's that we're all we got, and we know that the federal government's response is very different than the proactive, human-centered approach that we're seeing in San Francisco, and still striving to make sure that we meet that expectation every single day through city leadership and nonprofits and our partners. I also want to shout out everybody that's going through this crisis with your loved ones, whether it's a few miles away and you can't see them because of safety concerns, whether you're out in the field and in the community and you feel you might be a risk, and exposing folks is very difficult not to see our loved ones. For me and my family is across the country. I got family in Corona, Queens, New York, and that's one of the communities are really hard by the crisis. My family also in Colombia and Latin America. I'm on the WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, checking in with them today. So everybody that got family, wherever they may be, we're all we got, really. And for me, I'm a child of hip hop, and one of my favorite MCs, Immortal Technique, if folks are familiar with him, he has a great line. He said that no one person can do everything, but everyone can do something, right? And so I feel like our history, our community, our legacies really prepared us for this moment. And so I'm trying to take it one day at a time. And I also want to shout out our folks at Self-Help for the Elderly, a really amazing organization that I don't think I mentioned earlier, but Self-Help for the Elderly, distributing meals all over the city for our senior neighbors. We know social isolation of the seniors is so deep and a real crisis in the city. And so I just want to shout them out. They've been a core partner since the very start.
Thank you, sir. Teresa, you got the final. Why do you do what you do?
Comes natural for me, Dr. Marshall. I just do it. Like I'm always giving back off of social media, just in general. I'm mentoring anyone who asks me for help. I'm helping. Even when they don't ask, I'm helping. So, and it makes me feel good to give back. And people gave back to me. I didn't get here by myself, and so just paying it forward.
Bree, you haven't said anything. You want to say something before we get turned over to the Lady E?
Yeah, sorry. I was like sneezing. Like my allergies are like messed up. This pollen is like no joke. Sorry. But I think like Teresa said, it just comes natural for me. I think when you treat people like they're angels, or just like people like you, like good people, then you just automatically do good for people. And it's just part of your nature, like I'm like Valerie said, like I'm just very grateful for what I have, and I'm very humble with what I have, what I've grown up to have. So why not give the same for other people? And when you're surrounded by good people and you're surrounded by love, you naturally bring that outside of your home. So that's just, like she said, it just comes naturally and everything. So yeah.
So all we got to do is find a world of people like us, and then everything will be.
Well, and what's so beautiful too is that there's all of these deeds, and it's being shared on social media, but it's not like showing off, and really it's just inspiring people to do good. Like when I saw Cisco and Val making masks on that weekend, I was like, I need a sewing machine. I was like, that is awesome. And I mean, you just don't realize, like, but by doing those little things, like how you inspire other people to do good as well. Like Shamann is handing out food, and I'm like, I got to learn how to cook so then I can like pass out food to my neighborhood. You want to check on my neighbors and make sure they have stuff, So I just really thank every single person here who is just selflessly giving, because you're inspiring that next person to do it as well. So thank you.
Lady E, you ready? You got
something? No.
Well, then you got some words for us, I know.
This is the time that I usually have where I wrap it up, where I have taken notes and documented what's been said, and then I put it together. But tonight, listening to you has touched my heart in a different kind of way. And I've been listening and feeling and going out, blowing my nose and wiping my tears, because I am just deeply touched by your generosity, your love, who you are, and the fact that our community needs angels working and moving in this community, and you are definitely indeed that. So unfortunately, I don't have a consider this, but I've got prayers for you that you are blessed, empowered, and strengthened to continue to do the work that you do, that you are blessed, that you stay healthy and strong, and the people that you work with and the lives that you touched are changed in a way where they can see the importance and the gift that they've been given, and they're able to give back as well. So my prayers to you, my blessings to you, and keep doing the work.
Thank you.
We have a saying, and you're in now. Our saying is we're not all related, but we're all family. So I got a whole bunch of new family members. Some I already have.
Yay!
That's all now. We're gonna look after each other. Just thank you so much. Just thank you so much for the night. Soul, you still there? I don't see his picture. Is he there?
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
What you want to holler? You want to say something before we get out of here?
Oh, thank you to all the guests. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for the work you're doing. As I was listening to you, I kept thinking about the Native American principle of the 7 generations, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's you're not just doing it for yourself. You're not doing it, for your family, not just for your generation, but it's on behalf of the 7 generations, the generations to come. And thinking big picture like that, something that you may never see. You might not see it yourself, but you still planted that seed. And as Doc always says, it's what's the quote? We're in a relay race, a marathon relay race for freedom.
Race for freedom. The
That's
marathon relay race.
That's right. So
right
we
now,
all,
you got your baton.
That's
and
right.
You're running the race.
and we passing it on. So pleasure to have all of you. Stay safe out there, and keep up the good work.
Katrelia, Teresa, Lowell, Shamann, Cisco, Valerie, Fernando, and Rigo. Thank you all.
Now, can I shout out a couple of resources?
Love you. I hope people's watching. If not,
wait, Doc.
Everybody.
Hold on, Doc. You wanted to get something in.
They need it.
Dr. Marshall and everybody, I just want to thank everybody for the work and wishing you love on the journey each day. I know it's heavy, but thank you everybody for everything that you do. Can I just shout out a couple of resources real quick?
Please do.
I just wanted to, first of all, shout out the census. The 2020 census is here.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody's done it. We need 100% participation.
Nice shirt, brother. I like that shirt.
Right on.
Yeah.
Judy wants to say hi. Hi.
How's the baby? Probably 10 years old now.
She's watching. Her name's Amani. Tell her hi. She's watching, Dr. Marshall.
Okay.
Dr. Marshall.
Tell Maxine, say what's up. Go ahead.
You got
one one thing that I wanted to say was we had one young lady who came in for a computer who was about 12 years old, and she was reading at a 12th grade level. And we were so just so happy to be able to help her stay on track.
Yes.
And not be able and not be caught up in that trap of falling behind because she lacked a computer. And just think what she was doing. She didn't have a computer and she was that far ahead and just doing wonderful things. So we were so happy. And I forgot to mention that when I was talking about all of the kids that we came into contact with. So I just had to share that with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Gonna let you go into the night. Keep doing your good deeds. We'll be back together again. We're not all related, but we're all family. So
I would encourage folks to
Bless you. Night, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.